Welcome to Justice Now, and you've reached the ongoing Tips for Black Workers. This is part 13 video, and it's entitled that at work you do not have friends. So keep the concept of friendship and define friendship. Define it for you as to what friendship means to you. And 9 times out of 10, I will guarantee you that it does not mean people who you work with. It's along the lines of how you are constantly being spied upon. The reason I say this is because through many of my observations, and at one point in my life, earlier in my career development, when I started out in my 20s, well, I've actually started the workforce when I was 12, but in my 20s, when I started working full-time, I often got confused with, because people are nice, then they're friendly, and that they're friends. Now that I'm more mature in my age, I begin to realize that they are not friends. So for me, a definition of friendship is one that I can speak to about my most intimate details on a variety of topics, be it politics, be it family life, be it just other random topics that are common for both myself and my friends. Friendship includes being able to access resources. If a friend has a job opportunity to share, or if say I needed to lend money to a friend because they were really in need, that's friendship. If you're going through really tough times and that person is there with you through thick and thin, that's a friend. If they're supporting you and your development towards the goals that you wish to achieve, that's a friend. At work, there are no friends. It's active competition. They can mimic being a friend, but what they really are strategic alliances. Strategic alliances where you can access resources. Strategic alliances where you can get additional information to help make a decision in your career development. So there's a very big difference. You wouldn't be going to a worker saying, can I borrow, $10 for lunch? And if you do, then I would highly suggest that you stop, because then that will be used as ammunition against you. With the strategic alliances, you would also be very aware of how you conduct yourself, knowing that whatever information you share can be turned against you, to block you from promotions, from pay increases, to even block you from maintaining your job. So be very aware of the types of information you share. Over my time in the workforce, I've heard many Black people share information about themselves that shouldn't be shared. They share about their life, about what they do, where they go, that should not be shared. They share about their relationships that should not be shared. And it's not just Black people, it's all types of people. And I'm going to do another video on dumping. Dumping is where an individual comes to you and all they do is they just dump their negative emotions on you. So I'm going to do a separate video for that. For this particular video, it's about minding what you share, what information you share within the workforce, because again, it will be used against you. So for instance, oftentimes I would hear a conversation with this question, oh, what did you do for the weekend? And I will hear sometimes my Black colleagues say, oh, I went to the club, we got lit, we had fun, it was really cool. They would say this to their strategic alliance. Then come promotion time, especially if it's for a higher position such as management, that same strategic alliance will then mimic or comment that same information to the higher ups saying, I don't know if you really want to, hire Justice now. I'll just use my name, for example. I don't know if you really want to hire Justice now. I mean, she talks about, going to the club, getting lit. Who knows what getting lit might be? It may be alcohol. It may be using drugs. The embellishment and fabrications are inserted in there. It may be that. And I don't know if you want that type of person to be a part of the brand for the company. So then when you go for the interview, and then when you are turned down, you are none the wiser, right? You're thinking that you just had this conversation, this seemingly innocent conversation of what you did for the weekend, and then that information is now used against you, and you've been blocked by that promotion. You see where I'm coming from? So this is why you want to be very guarded about your personal information. So this is how I handle it when I'm asked a question such as, what did you do for the weekend? My answer is, well, the weather was absolutely beautiful. It was nice and warm. I planned on doing some gardening, and I'm just looking into some plants that I'm planning on gardening. I was looking into this particular flower, the chrysanthemum, and I'm just wondering, what would be the most optimal, ideal way of growing this particular flower, because I think it's so beautiful. Do you have any suggestions? Keep it light. Keep it vague. Or hey, I was thinking of riding on this bike path. Do you know any suggestions of what bike paths? And then follow up with, how was your weekend? And it will be up to them to share whatever information they wish to share. But keep it light. Do not give information about if you're at the club. Do not give information of, if you're going through a custody battle and how it was hard for visitations for your children. Do not share things like that. Oftentimes what will happen is the strategic alliance or your colleague will share information with you in hopes that, and they'll share personal information. Now, whether or not it is actually truthful information, you always have to keep that in the back of your mind. Is this deceptive information or is it truthful information they're sharing? Because oftentimes it's used as a way to manipulate you into sharing your personal information. Refrain from that. Keep it vague. So that when it comes time for promotions, they don't have anything to carry to the higher ups as a means to block you. So yes, if you have any comments on experiences or any further tips regarding this, please share. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe. and stay tuned for my next video. This will be part 14. The next video will be part 14, dumping, because I know that there's a lot of Black colleagues that have encountered this particular circumstance. So I'll provide some tips on how to counter that as well.